Niall Motormouth Jenkins here, welcoming you to our brand new YouTube channel. Hope that you'll come back and see every segment each and every week, and I will share preventative maintenance tips and regularly scheduled maintenance tips for your car. So whether you know a little bit about your car or absolutely nothing, this is the channel just for you, where I share over 35 years of experience as a qualified and licensed service technician with truck and coach, light truck and passenger vehicles. Come back and visit us and tell your friends, and we'll see you each and every week right here in the Car Connection Workshop on YouTube.
Niall Motormouth Jenkins here, just hanging around underneath the 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler. We're working on the back end today. Something that I forgot even after doing most of the mechanicals on this Jeep at the back. When I first got started with it, I did wheel cylinders, brake shoes, hold down kits, rear shock absorbers, all the brake lines, all the emergency brake cables, all the fuel lines, all been replaced. I thought I had serviced the rear differential, but when I went to move the Jeep, I noticed this on the floor in the shop. See that stain there? Yeah, it came from there, the bottom of the differential. So the differential cover is leaking and it needs servicing. So we're going to do that. I'm going to show you how to take this cover off and how to do it properly without causing damage to it, because I've seen a lot of fellas jam a screwdriver in there to get the cover off, and that ends up causing the cover to warp. So we're going to get this cleaned up a little bit before we take the cover off, because there's a lot of crusties on it. So we're going to scrape that off. This looks like it could be a bolt, and that one there could be a bolt, but they're kind of covered up. That could be and should be a bolt, but there's also a little bit of weeping going on here. So, oh, I'm sorry, did you taste that? Was it any good? Was it any good at all? No. I'm not sure if that's diff oil or if it was brake fluid. When I bled the brakes, it could have been laying around, because it doesn't feel like differential oil. So we're going to, when Skippy's out of the way, I'll wipe that off and we'll clean that up, because all the brake lines have been replaced. So it could have been brake fluid that's just hanging around on the other side, because above this, where my hand is, that's where the junction valve is for the rear brakes. So the line coming from the front goes into the brass block, and then your left and right brake line go into it, and it's fastened to the differential housing. So I do not believe this is differential fluid, but this is here for sure, where my fingy is. So we're going to get busy. We're going to clean this off. I'm going to scrape it down. So the whole idea is here, we need to, if any one of you out there know where there is a gas tank shield available for this 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler, I'm looking for one, the shield that came off, and I pulled this tank out. It's got a new pump inside. I had to clean the tank and all kinds of stuff to get the fuel system clean. So it has a new in-tank fuel pump. I cleaned the tank inside, and I do have videos on those, and we will edit those and get those up. I took those videos last year, so they're on my my GoPro Black. So I've just put a fresh bungee cord up to hold the tank up, but I'm making a custom bracket right now to put the fuel tank straps on, because the fuel tank straps hook into this great big steel cover that goes over the tank and protects the tank. So any of you Jeepsters out there that know where I can find a really good gas tank cover, we're in need of that. I've looked around, and a lot of them they're in bad shape. They're not worth picking up, and then you got to fix it, and I got to weld it. But I missed out on one that was from Texas, and it just didn't work out. I couldn't get there to get it, so it was a problem. So that's what we need. so that I can put more fuel in the tank. I'm going to put a second bungee cord on, and that'll give it some stability, but I'm working on the tank straps, and they're over on my rolling cart. So I have a solution to be able to put the tank straps in place until I find the cover, and it will hold the tank solid. But for today, we got to get this rear cover off. We got to get this oil leak stopped. So I'm just going to mop this little mess up here on the floor so I can get my apparatus there in place. So Skippy, you may have to bail back a little bit over to the other side while I get this pan under here, and then I'm going to scrape off some of this horrendous looking material. Yeah, unfriendly, I call it. So you don't want your face under there, that's for sure. So we're just going to give that a wipe off. I'm pretty sure 100% that that's just a little bit of residual brake fluid that dripped down from when I bled the rear brakes. Because like I said, I gutted everything. Because, you know, if you're going to start a project, there's certain things you can save, and then there's other things you shouldn't save. And so when it comes to, you know, things like brake lines and that, your best bet is just to take them all out of there. Start from scratch. And same with all the services. This differential's probably never, ever been serviced. So we're going to scrape some of the barnacles off. Where Skippy said, it kind of looks like a chicken wing. And I don't get that one. But I guess it could be like a chicken wing coating. I think that's what she's saying. Has that got chicken wing dust on it? So we got some bolts. Well, that is a bolt. Isn't that something? Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, so we're just going to get some of these scabies off of here. And Skippy was saying, well, how does it do that? Well, there's probably, it may have been rust sprayed at some point, or the cover's been sweating a little bit, and then there's road dust and debris gets on there. So we're going to show you how we do this. And like I said, a lot of fellas will get a screwdriver in behind the cover. Well, the screwdriver really isn't flat. This is flat. See that? This is what I use. It's a scraper, but it also works really good on the differential covers. You can get in behind there without warping the cover. Yeah, so I'm going to get this all taken care of here. Yeah. You want to get off most of that stuff if you can. Get off as much as you can. This is going to get cleaned in the Varsol tank before I even consider putting it back up. But I just don't want any of this crud to get inside the gears and the bearings in there. You want to prevent scraping this before you take after you take the cover off. Because this is all road crud. Off-road crud, wherever it came from, doesn't matter. But I want to try and eliminate as much of this stuff as possible from possibly getting inside where the gears are. Yeah, I don't want it giving us the gears, if you know what I'm saying. No pun intended. But try and get as much off as you possibly can. Just let it go into your pan. That's all. It's a little awkward, but it is awkward, but you know what? It's worth it. Just take the time and scrape it. I'm going to see if I can get my light up the other way so I don't blind the camera and you can't see. Look at that big scab that came off of there. And this is the plug right here. That's the fill plug. It's rubber. So when we're done, that's where we're going to fill the differential up with. And again, you don't want to fill it too much, and we're going to show you how to do that too. So you don't, it's no good to overfill, and it's no good to underfill. You need it spot on. So if you've seen this done before, great. If you haven't, this is a video just for you to show you. This is what we have to do a service on vehicles that are 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive. we should still be, even though we've got newer technology, you still need to change fluids and filters. That has not changed, and it's not going to change, because we need filters and fluids to protect components. So you got to do this. Somebody has to do it. At some point, somebody has to do it. So let's get some more of this off. That's pretty gooey. What do you think, Skippy? That's pretty gooey, isn't it? Did you want medium, mild, or hot house? Get some scabes. Yeah, so this housing, it's been sweating. But again, we rescued this thing from the junkyard. This is a labor of love. So everything that I've done to this vehicle, except for the blown up engine, was all maintenance. And the cause of the engine, maintenance, lack of maintenance. Not changing the coolant, not paying attention to service, just drive the living daylights out of it. And if you're one of those people that does that, there's not much help for you, really, because you're always going to treat vehicles with no respect. But these videos are for you to learn that, you know what, this has to be serviced. At some point, someone has to service it. It's that simple. The neglect costs you. And that's the sad part about this Jeep is, yeah, it's a 1997, but it didn't have to go to the wrecking yard. It's the engine that took it there, but it's actually was whoever owned it. No maintenance. And this has never been done. So it's our turn to take care of it. So, and that's what we're doing. When all is said and done, we'll get the vehicle sprayed with a proper rust-proofing compound. And you can find that compound on our website. They don't sponsor me or any of the videos, but if you go to carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com, not only will you find recommended local businesses that I put my stamp of approval on, but you'll also see a rust-proofing product there, which is the one that I use. I don't, like I said, I'm not endorsed by them, but it's a product that I use, and it works. So that's why I keep the information up there for you, so that you can definitely check it out for yourself. So when all is said and done, we will get the Jeeps sprayed, and I mean we will get it sprayed. I know I'll get it done twice in 1 year, so it gets a good coating. So we got to get these bolts out. I always do them by hand, and for two reasons. Number one, you may not have all the tooling that I have, and I'm showing you that you can do it yourself at home by hand. Who put that on? G.I. Joe? I don't know. We'll have to ask. That is tight. Like I said, somebody at some point has to do the service. There we go. So what I do is I take the bottom ones out, and I will leave 2 bolts at the top so that loose, so that I can split the cover and get it open. But that's the reason I do it by hand. These covers always tend to get warped because guys are using air tools on them. They're tightening these bolts way too tough, and it mushrooms the bolt hole in the cover. Because you can do this 2 ways. You can buy a gasket to go on there, or you can use RTV, and I've always used RTV. I've always had 4-wheel drives, at least one in the household, at least one, because you never know what kind of winter we're going to have. We live by the lake, and it can be a harsh winter, or it can be a mild winter. We don't know until it's all said and done. So it's always good to have extra snow blowers, and make sure that your 4-wheel drive, if you have one in your household, is well looked after. And I can smell the rear end oil already just by loosening the bolts. Yeah. Just imagine, these have been in here since 1997. Yeah. And it's just getting a service now. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's just getting a service now. Is that okay there, Skippy? Can I leave it there? Yeah, I need a little more light. I'm getting to the nitty-gritty here now. But that's the reason I do it by hand, is for you. Learning how to do it yourself in your driveway, in your garage. You don't need all the fancy tools. You just need to make sure you're doing it right. So, like I said, I will leave the top bolt loose, and I will remove all the bolts. Oh, I think that one goes to the front, sticks out the radiator. Yeah, I got one here somewhere. I know I do. That was the loosest one. Get them all loosened off first, all of them. Then I'll show you how I drain the rear end, the differential, without wearing it. That one was relatively loose. We're getting down to the end here. We've almost made it all the way around the world. The pumpkin. That one was loose. And we have made it. We have landed. Okay, so now I will just make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think so. All right, so good. We're almost there. So once I get this cover off, I'll put it in the Varsol tank and I will proceed to clean it up and wash it. Then once I've cleaned it in the Varsol tank, I'm going to take it to the hot water and I'm going to wash it in the hot water, spray it down with a little degreaser. And so now I'm ready. Then I'll be ready to install the cover. So I won't bore you with that, but what I want to show you is how to get this cover off without beating the daylights out of it and warping it. How to get the cover off and not wear it. Wear that oil, because I'll tell you, differential oil stinks. We used to always say, that smells like somebody's rear end. That's because it is. And not all differentials you have to service like this. Some of them, it has a drain. So you can put it, you empty the drain plug, it has a drain and a fill. But on this particular differential housing, it's a cover. So I did the front one. There is a video posted for that. And there was actually water in there. And I had some rust to deal with, and I dealt with that and made sure all the bearings were good and everything. But like I said, I've spent most of the time since I did all the brakes and all the mechanicals at the back, all the way around. Most of the work that this Jeep required was up in the engine bay. So it's ready to run out now, run it up, and get that replacement engine up to temp. And then I just got water in it for now, till I know for sure that the cooling system's flushed out, because that was a pre-owned engine. And I want to make sure that I get all the crud that may be inside the cooling system in the block. We want to get that out. I don't want any crud in there. I did clean the block the best I could, but the best part is to flush it. So we've gotten that far. So we're now ready to run the engine up to 195 degrees Fahrenheit and flush it out. But this needs to be done, and the gas tank needs to be secured, because I need to put a large amount of fuel in the tank to run it for a while. And I want to road test it too. I want to take it around the block and make sure everything feels good and it's tight and right. We still have alignment to do and to reset the entire front end, because there were some problems. Somebody hit something and there's a bracket that's bent, so it needs to be fixed. So we're going to need the hoist for that. So we're getting close, and then I've got some interior work to do. I'm going to change out the dash completely, changing over the interior from gray to slate black, and the dash included all the electronics and everything, swapping it out, putting in a new windshield, having a terrible time getting the bolts out. So that I'm working on. I've got a complete windshield and frame to go in, and a new seal. And that was all salvaged from a Texas truck. And that's where I was hoping to get the gas tank cover from, but I couldn't get back to the yard to get it. So we're kind of stuck. So if anybody out there can help us, we need the metal gas tank cover. Yeah, we need it. But like I said, I'm making up some brackets so that I can fasten the new tank straps in to hold the tank in place firmly and safely with tank straps, not bungee cords. So we're getting there. We are getting there. So I usually leave the top 2 bolts in, and I thread them out till they're almost out, and then I turn them in about a quarter turn, and that's what I've done here. All the other bolts can come out. So make sure we got all the bolts out. I missed one there. So I leave 2 and the rest of them into my parts bucket right here. Ding, ding. All right, we're now ready to pop that thing open. So here's how we're going to do it. Make sure I wipe off my blade. Like I said, I do not want any dirt in the gear housing, in the differential. Do not. So make sure you're working clean. I don't want, see the stuff on the floor? I don't want any of that in the gearbox. Well, it's not really a gearbox, but yes it is. It's a gearbox. All right, hammer time. So we're gonna see if I can reposition this light and not blind the camera. See if I can do, oh, that could work. Could that work, Skippy? Give us a nod. We good? Okay, so what I do is I just get this in from the side. If you do it underneath on the bottom, you're going to get covered in gear oil, and it really stinks. So this is a nice flat blade. See that? A screwdriver is fat and chunky, and you bend the cover. And I don't put this in where there's a bolt hole. I go away from the bolt hole in the center. And then I'm just going to work my way till I can get my blade in. Don't go nuts on it and force it. You want it to open somewhere. And it will find its way in somewhere. But do not force screwdriver in there, and especially where there's a bolt hole. So we will get this in there, trust me. Did you hear that? It found its way in, and now I'm just going to hold my scraper there. This is a scraper, actually. It's a very good one. I've had it many years. And then just apply a little bit of pressure as if you're popping it open. The oil looks good though. It does look good. I gotta say I'm happy with that. But folks, even on today's vehicles, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, you gotta do these services. You gotta change this oil because it's not monitored. There's no sensors gonna tell you when it needs to be changed. It's called maintenance. So, and it may have been off at some point. Maybe. There's no gasket on it. It's just RTV. So maybe somebody was kind to it along the way at some point. But it also gives us an opportunity to have a looky-see inside at the gears, the spider gears, the crown and pinion, The pinion seal is okay. It's not leaking. The pinion's up here where the drive shaft goes in. So that's good. Usually when the pinion seal is leaking, you'll have oil down along this bottom edge. Down here, where my finger's going, or my scraper, right along here. The oil will come down. It'll trickle down and blow back. But this case, like I said, the cover is leaking, and it probably has not been serviced. So we're going to be the first man in, probably since 1997, which is sad, really. But do a good job. This is what maintenance is all about. If you want to keep something longer, and you want to keep vehicles as long as you possibly can, this is the stuff that will get you there. This is what it takes to get you there. And I don't drive fairly new vehicles. I'm not interested in paying interest anymore. I'm not interested in the interest anymore. Not me. Been there, done that. No. I've got the know-how. I can keep just about anything going as long as I want. And I really appreciate the older vehicles myself. So now I'm going to get in here. I haven't warped the cover. I haven't done any damage. And I haven't allowed a whole lot of anything to get in there. So we're just going to bring that out of there. And it's fairly clean in there. There's a little bit of debris, but not much. Not much at all. I don't feel any metal particles. That's good. I'm really happy about that. That excites me. This thing is heavy. I want you to know that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to move this away a little bit, and then I want to put this down. That's going to go right in the Varsol tank. Going to clean it up, get it ready to go back on, and we'll pause the video here. We'll call that part 1. And part 2 will be we're reinstalling the cover, and we will bring you back in for part 2 when we're ready. And then we'll put the cover on, we'll torque it down by hand, and we will also fill the differential back up, because I want this to drain probably overnight is what I like. And then I'll get in there and I'll have a really good look. So this is the crown gear right here, and I'm looking at the teeth and it looks really, really good. Like, I'm really pleased with what I see right now. So we can rotate this and we can look at the crown gear. This is the carrier. So this is the crown. The pinion goes that way, and then when it comes round, these are the spider gears. Right here, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they feel really good, and I don't see any pieces missing. The crown looks really good. I can see the pattern on the teeth. These are what are called spiral bevel gears. They're curved. And in the older days, these were straight cut. And that's why you hear the vintage vehicles like Model A's, Model T's, they whine. And the reason they whine is because these gears in the differential are straight. They hadn't invented spiral bevel gears till later on. So with the spiral bevel, the gears mesh, but the teeth don't go deep into one another. So on the old ones, they were straight cut. So it was like one gear cut straight into the other, into the valley. And that's what causes the whining. But on this, I don't think you want any of that in your hair. It's not really good. But that's why these are curved. There's no noise. You hear no whining anymore with the invention of the spiral bevel gears. And what I'm looking for here is, I see this pattern here. You see how it's shiny in there? And then it's not shiny down here. That tells me that there's no backlash with the pinion gear, which goes to the drive shaft. it's still in very good shape. You got to watch these gears because they get sharp here. And I actually cut my thumb open one time really, really bad on one of these. It was on a Dodge van. The edge was so sharp and I slipped and cut my thumb wide open. I cut my thumb. So everything looks really good here. I'm very pleased with that. And there's no bits down here. So I want this to drain really, really well overnight. And then I will get in there and I'll clean it out with a lint-free cloth and spray it down with some brake parts cleaner. Then I will clean the housing. It actually came off really, really clean. So it's going to be a treat to put it back on. I won't be scraping for 10 days and 2 nights or something like that. Time. So yeah, it's looking really good. I'm very, very pleased. Nothing broken. Nothing in the bottom here. Nothing at all. So this is what you call a differential. And every vehicle has it. Whether it's 1997 or 2025. And they have fluids. And they are not good for ever. Lifetime, you got to remember, folks, lifetime warranty means the day or the mileage, whichever comes first, then the warranty is void. Lifetime does not mean you never change this oil. You never service the crown and pinion and the spider gears. No. It's not lifetime. Lifetime does not mean you never, ever need to service it. No. It means that the factory warranty is only good for the mileage or the month that it runs out. So you got to watch the play on terms. Lifetime does not mean maintenance free. There is nothing on an automobile, even today, that is maintenance free. So all we've been doing to this Jeep is maintenance. It's not a restoration. This is not a restoration. It's a survivor. We're going back and servicing, fixing, and repairing maintenance items and wear and tear items that the previous owners could not be bothered with doing. So Skippy, with that, I think we'll cut it off there because I got some extra work to do that I don't want to bore the viewers with is the cleanup part. So again, I'll take this cover to the Varsol tank. I'll do a thorough job and wash it in the Varsol. Then I'll take it to my shop sink. I'll rinse it down with super hot water. Then I'll degrease it. And if you don't have degreaser at home, you know what? One of my favorite tools, Pine Sol. It's a really good degreaser and you can get it from the supermarket. I prefer the purple. I find it smells good. Which one? Lemon? You don't like either one? You don't like the green one? I like the purple one. Some say they like the yellow one, the lemon one, but either one of those three, I use it a lot in the shop. The Pine Sol works really good as a degreaser. So if you don't have Varsol, you could wash this cover out with some Pine Sol and then hose it down with some hot water and wash it with some soap and water and then rinse it again and then just dry it off and you're in good shape. So till next time, keep it under 100 and put the coffee on. We're going to come to your house. Don't forget to like, share, follow, comment your comments below on our YouTube videos, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single video or a notification when we're going to go live streaming. And subscribe. And most of all, watch the videos. You're going to learn 5 things every single time, every single video. What it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks, and how you could prevent that from happening, saving you time, money, and a few bloodied knuckles. So like and follow us on Facebook at Niall Motormouth Jenkins. Visit our website, carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. You'll find the link there for you to get to our merchandise store where you can find great merch that you can call your own, pick your color, pick your size, pay for it safely online, and it gets delivered right to your door. And right now we offer all our merchandise $5 above our cost. Help keep Skippy and I in coffee and donuts. Support the videos as well. We appreciate you, and we thank you for watching, and we'll see you at Stevensville on the web.ca as well, where you'll find bloopers and outtakes you won't see anywhere else. So that's Stevensville on the web.ca. Click on the businesses button. We'll see you in the next one. Ring the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
Well, thank you for stopping by the Car Connection Workshop right here on YouTube. Don't forget to come back and join us for another segment. So like, share, tag, and follow, and ding that bell so that you don't miss a single edition of Car Connection. So till next time, keep it under 100 and put the coffee on, because we're coming to your house.